Hello there, jury. Welcome back to the only slightly judgy podcast. I can't speak. The only slightly judgy podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Aiden Hishan. We obsess over all things fiction and media. Today we have a very special one. We are gonna be looking at a couple of hot takes. Very spicy. We requested only the spiciest takes from our audience across social media, and I gotta say we got some crazy ones here, Sean.
Absolutely. I think a lot of eyebrow raising stuff. A lot, but on the flip side, also a lot of like I guess solid takes, like stuff that could be debated on,
Mm.
and some are just jokes. So I mean, pretty excited to get into it.
Yeah. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, except when the opinion is wrong. Um, but essentially, we will slightly judge. So let's get into it. A couple of people have submitted, and a couple of people have multiple takes, so we'll just go one by one. First one we have is, I would say this is mild. Interstellar is an 8 out of 10 on a good day. I don't think it's as good as people say. What do you think?
Hmm.
Okay, do
Interstellar
we do we
is
want to say whether we agree or disagree on the count of three at the same
uh
time?
okay, yeah,
Okay. All right.
yeah.
Three, two, one. Agree.
Disagree.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
sure.
I did mention Interstellar on our first episode as one of my like hypothetical top five,
Mm-hmm.
but like while I disagree, I definitely see where this is coming from.
Yeah.
Uh, me, Interstellar is kind of like the most Nolan movie. Like no other adjectives, just the most Nolan movie. Uh, like in terms of how he's mostly known for, or he was mostly known for playing around with science, was known for these like grand, large scale epics that
Yeah.
have like a long runtime and a pretty complicated story. So I think this encapsulates his stuff best. But I understand that it's like first of all it's not for everyone, right?
Mm.
And second of all that like I think a lot of people harbor some sort of like neutrality towards it because it's a very basic like introduction to cinema that isn't a superhero kind of movie. But for what it is, I enjoy it. I like it a lot.
Mm. For me, I agree, but only because mine is kind of scaled up. So like, while I think mostly everyone thinks Interstellar is like a 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, I think it's a 7 out of 10. Still high in my opinion, just not as high. Um,
Mm.
I think Interstellar is the most overrated film in the past 10 to 15 years. Overrated not because bad, like genuinely Interstellar is an amazing piece of film, but overrated in a sense that too many people have spoken too highly of it for too long, kind of thing. You know what I
Mm.
mean? It's like, yes, I think Interstellar is a great film. Yes, I think Nolan deserves the flowers for Interstellar, all the flowers for Interstellar. But I don't like. I don't think we should still be raving about it more than 10 years later.
I think it's a pretty good gateway for people coming into like
Yeah,
more slightly more niche cinema, coming from like only watching like blockbusters or mainstreams.
yeah.
So like for that, I think it does its job really well because it's not difficult to get into, and how do you say this? Like in a way, it believes itself to be like smart.
Mm.
So like I can see why a lot of people watching it for the first time kind of go like, oh, this is the kind of movie that I've been looking for all this while.
It's very reliable. It's a very reliable film.
Mm.
It's great. I have seen a lot of people, a lot of the Interstellar haters, like, I genuinely don't understand the hate that some people have. It's kind of forced. I I don't know. I see some semblance of sense when people say they don't like the third act of Interstellar, which to me I think is like 30%, 40% fair, because the third act is a very different tone from the rest of the movie, I feel, in my opinion.
I think I don't know. Like it's really biased because I like it a lot.
Mm.
Uh, if anything, I would say like the most basic, like boring Nolan movie. I would say is actually Inception.
Mm. Yeah, I would agree.
Mm.
Yeah.
where it's just like all the stuff he's colloquially known for kind of roll into one. I don't think it stands out as much as the others. So I would apply like the same sentence that the responder was using and put Inception in instead.
Yeah, that one I would agree. Interstellar is definitely better than Inception, in my opinion. Yeah, great. Next one is Andrew Garfield is the best Spider-Man and Peter by a long shot. Okay, come up with your answer.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, same. Ready? 3,
Okay.
2, 1. Agree.
Agree. You go first.
I go first. Okay, I don't know about by a long shot. That one's the only thing I maybe don't agree with. But other than that, I do think that Garfield is the best balance of both. I think, like, I've said this before, but Toby is a great Spider-Man, Tom is a great Peter, Andrew is a great both. I think Andrew is the best mix of the two, in my opinion.
I think we've talked about this before on our pretty recent
Yeah.
Spider-Man solo episode. I think like Andrew's my favorite Peter Parker definitely. I think that's by a long shot, but I'll disagree if you say he's the best Spider-Man by a long shot. I think that one really comes down to like personal preference.
Yeah.
It isn't that clear cut for me. I don't know. We've covered this a lot. We covered this like extensively.
Yeah. We'll leave it at that. Go watch our Spider-Man episode.
Yeah, like I feel the same as what I said then. Like Toby has the best movies,
Yep.
and I think a lot of people take that and kind of lump it together with like him being the best at both roles, but I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
I think you can just watch the Spider-Man episode.
Yeah. Go watch the Spider-Man.
Like,
We'll redirect you to our Spider-Man episode.
5 minute discussion on this. Yeah.
Yeah. So really quick into the next one. This is rough. We have Megamind is better than 90% of Pixar. Okay. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Disagree.
Agree.
Yeah.
Hard disagree.
Oh my god. Actually,
Uh,
I'll put Megamind and replace Interstellar with Megamind. I would do that, honestly.
I think Megamind being like its whole nature is its deconstruction.
Yeah.
I think to me, Shrek does what Megamind does for superheroes, but Shrek does it for fantasy better.
Yeah.
But I think that's a bit biased because like I grew up with like fantasy, sword and sorcery. So like when Shrek parodied that, it was funny. Whereas like I watched Megamind probably at the same time as like the other essential superhero works. So it didn't hit that much for me.
I don't think Megamind hits as well compared to 90% of Pixar. 90% of Pixar is a lot. That's a lot. Like this is a bold statement.
Yeah, like Pixar has what, like 20 something? So like 90% would be like everything except for 2 or 3, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Like I'm curious to what this person's 2 or 3 is.
Yeah.
Cars 2.
Please let us please let us know. I think yeah. Like if you say 50, I'll maybe accept it. Because like there is a half that's not memorable. But even then I think the proper number should be
I
30
think
to 40.
50 is also pushing it a bit. I will go with 30. But yeah.
It's much easier to name a memorable classic Pixar film than it is to name like a bad one other than the last few. Actually, not even the last few really.
Yeah, sure. So yes, hard disagree. No, Megamind is not better than 90% of Pixar. That's a bit insane. That's a bit much. We are not hearing you out on that one. Alright, next one is The Amazing Spider-Man. Here we go, more Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man's great responsibility speech scene from the 2012 movie is one of the best moments in superhero movies ever. Okay, I have my answer.
Sure.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Disagree.
Neutral.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it really depends. Like, one of the best, like the best 10, best 5, but I'm pretty indifferent to this.
Look, I love The Amazing Spider-Man. I think Andrew's the best Spider-Man. But one of the best moments in superhero movies ever, a speech has to be memorable. And when I tell you I cannot remember that speech right now for the rest for like the I'm doing my best to remember it, but I just can't. I more remember Gwen's graduation speech at Amazing Spider-Man 2 in Amazing Spider-Man 2. I think that's better. But yeah, I just can't remember for the life of me that great responsibility speech you're talking about. Yeah, especially if you're saying like one of the best moments in superhero movies, like those have to be memorable. Those have to be your Captain America lifting Mjolnir. That has to be like Iron Man's first suit up. That has to be like what else?
I'll say like Logan death
Yeah.
or like the Iron Man Bucky talk slash fight Civil War. That's one for me as well. Yeah.
Spider-Man's dusting, all of that, like
Mm.
has to be memorable, you know. And I'm sorry, I just can't remember it. So yeah, that's the metric I'm going by.
What is a really good Superman speech? I mean superhero speech.
I mean, you said it. Superman is the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah. Yeah. The first thing I was thinking of was like being human, but
Actually, the
I'm
animated Superman speech from Superman versus the Elite, that's one of my favorites. Yeah, they don't really do speeches nowadays.
yeah. Struggling to think of one, but I think it's an okay scene. It's not what I remember TSM by mostly.
Yeah,
There's a lot of better parts to that.
the swinging scenes, especially. Oh my god, cinema, absolute cinema. All right, let's move on. Our next take is, I did not like After Sun at all. I get what the movie is going for, but found it absolutely boring and did not feel for it. I don't get why so many people like it. Okay, you have your answer?
Yeah.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, neutral.
Disagree. Hard disagree.
Yeah, go ahead.
After Sun is like, I feel like I mean, some of you might not have heard of After Sun before. It is a 2022, like, pretty quiet drama, written and directed by Charlotte Wells in her directorial debut, and it's more famously stars like Paul Mescal in and like Oscar-nominated role, but it did not pick up a lot of awards buzz, so I think a lot of people hadn't heard of it, and I just watched it 2 days ago, and it is fantastic. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Um,
I am neutral because I don't even remember if I've seen After Sun. I don't think I have. But yeah, I don't doubt what you're saying. I trust you.
the take is mostly about it being boring and like did not evoking much emotion. I think that I do understand where it's coming from, but I think it's very subjective.
Yeah.
The film deals mostly in like to roughly tell you the premise, it's like a daughter reminiscing about a trip she had with her father when she was 11, and her father, like it's a separated family, so her father took her to Turkey, I believe, and they had like a couple days of holidays, and now that she's grown up, she's reminiscing about what happened during that time, and you know, in typical fashion for this kind of movies, like she's starting to see where some of the cracks are, like something that she did not notice as a child is now coming back to like hit her as an adult. That's the main premise of it. Yeah.
I think like if somebody finds a movie boring or like and doesn't feel it, I think that's just clues as to the fact that the movie's just not for you.
Yeah, it definitely happens a lot, especially with obviously this kind of slower, I would even say like artsy movies. Yeah, like understandably it happens, but to me this was fantastic.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
no shame if a movie's not for you. Like it's fine. It happens. It happens to everybody.
I think this is a really good example of like a movie with barely any plot. It's very much like Call Me by Your Name. In that it like stuff has happened. It's all in the past, and this is looking back, revisiting memories
Yeah.
in a really scenic location, but
Yeah.
contrasted with like a sort of a tragic undertone that's happening in
Yeah.
the events.
I can tell there's a lot
So
of realism happening going on.
yeah, it's already slow. Like there's barely any dialogue at all.
Mm.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, there's not much to talk about because you have like no strong opinion of it. So that's just my take.
Yeah. Sure. Can you name a movie that wasn't for you, that people think is good?
Um, Off the top of my head, one battle
Mm.
after another is a pretty obvious one. I think we've talked about this a few times.
Yeah.
Mm. That one, I genuinely don't see why people are raving about it. I think everything we've talked about this a lot in our
Yeah.
Oscars episode. Yeah, so we just leave you to that.
Sure.
What about one for you?
Uh, Again, stuff we've talked about extensively. One Battle, Honora,
Mm,
Emilia Perez,
mm,
a lot of things. Most often, it's things that wind up in award shows that I'm like, why is this here? Kind of thing.
mm. One more would be what was it? I just had it. There Will Be Blood. Like it's
Mm.
super acclaimed, like super classic apparently, but I just didn't feel much for it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Happens to the best of us. All right, let's move on. We have Mission Impossible 2 is better than Mission Impossible. Okay. Ready?
Mm.
3, 2, 1, neutral.
Neutral. Yeah.
I am so indifferent to Mission Impossible. Uh, I do think the first one is great. I don't remember the second one at all.
This is just not my ballpark. Action is not. Action franchises are worse for me.
Action
I would say
franchises, yeah.
I do remember the first one having like the CIA, like the dropping knife, that climax, but I don't remember what happens in the second one.
What is this second one? It has
I know
6.1 on IMDb.
I know three is the one where they blow up like a Russian building. I forgot what happens in two.
Yeah. What is 2? Uh, Destroying a virus? What? Yeah, no, I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, sorry, we not our ballpark action movies. Yeah. Second one. If an animated show is adapting an already existing comic, manga, or manhwa, etc., if the show has bad animation, you can 100% discredit the show and say it is dookie. In brackets, I will debate this. Okay. Okay. You have your answer?
Yeah,
Okay. 3, 2, 1, disagree.
disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah, expected. You can go first, or listen.
Okay. I know what this is targeting. I think we all know what this is targeting. But I don't think you can discount a show just because it doesn't animate. If you think it doesn't animate that well, because I don't think. Sure, the quality of an animation hurts the overall quality of an animated show overall, but I don't think that is a, what's the word? I don't think that's a deal breaker. It's more like a it's more like a like the show still has legs, but it's walking around with a broken ankle. If you get what I mean. It's that kind of thing. It's not perfect, but if you love a comic or if you love a manga or whatever the source material is, then odds are you should still be liking the show regardless of how good the animation is, because you like the characters, you like the story, and while the animation is a tool to tell that story, I think if the general story itself isn't hurt, then it's not that bad.
Yeah, I think like circling around the topic of like the specific show we both have in mind, uh, animation is only one part of an animated show. Like, sure, it's a huge part, but if you're telling me that like both the animation and maybe like the voice acting is terrible, it's flat, then like yeah, you could definitely call it a bad show. But if only one aspect of the show's production is like not up to par and everything else is still like trying their hardest, I think it's not fair to discredit it right away.
Yeah. I don't think this is like exclusive to shows too. Like Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns, I don't like the art of Dark Knight Returns at all,
Same.
but the story is fantastic. Alex Ross's Kingdom Come. I hate the art, but but the story is so good. It's one of the best Superman stories out there.
I actually agree totally with like both of these. I think uh I'm the type of person that thinks like animation alone is enough to carry a show. So like if you're telling me story alone is enough to carry a show, definitely. Like even like voice acting, like dialogues is enough to carry a show, definitely.
Yeah.
I think if a show has only one single redeeming quality, sometimes it's like a really specific animation style, that's enough for me. It's like even something like Has Been, like a really mostly a pretty widely hated show. I think the music's fun, so that alone is enough to like get me interested.
Yeah. Again, it's a personal preference thing, right? But I also think generally it's like I feel like it's never one or the other. I feel like it's always a combination of the two that makes it meh. For
Yeah.
example, if we're talking if okay, this is not animated, but if we're talking about adaptations in general, like Supergirl adapting Woman of Tomorrow, the acting is there, the character portrayal is there. What's not there is the feel of the source material, as well as the scenery of the source material. Those two combined was enough to be like, okay, this is not a very good adaptation. It's not one or the other, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it depends because the commenters take mentions manga and manhwa, so
Yeah.
those are we're not really familiar with. But if it's something that the source material has a very distinct art style, for example, like Absolute Manhunter, I wouldn't want to see it animated unless like it's like 100% guarantee that the studio knows what they're doing with the animation.
Yeah.
Because any slight like uh watering down of the art style can kill certain products, but not all of them.
Yeah, I would agree. So yeah, we don't think you should discount the show just because the animation is lackluster or bad. It is definitely something that hurts the quality, but I don't think you should throw a show away because of it.
Yeah, even like anime, I've seen like really extremely well animated stuff. Like I think most recently being the JJK movie and the Chainsaw Man movie. I think
Yeah.
that kind of animation is pretty much impossible to put on a page, especially in black and white. So sometimes a really good story does get elevated by like animation. Sometimes it's opposite. I think both ways still deserve like your time if you are interested
Yeah.
in it.
I think another thing we have to acknowledge as well as viewers is that, guys, animation's really hard. It takes so long. It takes so many people working on it, you know? I think even though like I get bad animation, I still appreciate what animators have done for it. So maybe that's just me. I don't know. Yeah, we should move on. Thank you for that take.
Yep.
Next, we have DCEU, the DC Extended Universe. Lex Luthor, played by Jesse Eisenberg, is underrated AF. Ready?
Yeah,
3, 2, 1. Hard disagree.
agree.
You scum. You. No, we are not having this call. Ah. Go. Go ahead.
Go. Sure. I think it's a really good acting portrayal. It's good character writing, except that they should have changed his name to something else if they weren't confident in doing Lex Luthor. I think to me he feels there just because like Lex Luthor is like a big Superman enemy after like they did Zod, so like they probably just wanted to put him in there. But the way that they're writing had a lot of potential if it was just a different guy. even create a new guy like for all I care.
Mm-hmm.
I think
I can understand that. Sorry, you can go.
yeah, I was just about to say like I think Jesse Eisenberg tries his best to save like a Doom script all around. I think he brings a lot of like quirkiness and charm to the character. Like, obviously, if this is someone's first introduction to Lex, it's gonna be really jarring seeing like any other version of him. But for what it is,
Yep.
I think this like half crazy but half making sense, like pretentious little guy is a pretty charming antagonist for this specific movie.
I can agree to a certain extent. Is the acting good? Yes. Does Jesse Eisenberg try his best? Yes. But that's not my Lex, man. That's I I don't know. Like Lex has to be cold and calculating and menacing, not whimsical and trolly. I think if they casted him as Mad Hatter, that would be better. That'd be a much more appropriate role for that performance to be in. They just wanted Lex by proxy of we need a Superman villain here. Let's go with and they were like, oh, we can't do Mad Hatter because it needs to be more of a Superman movie than a Batman movie. So let's make it Lex. And he wasn't even bald. but yeah, mainly it's like I have a big issue with the things that Lex does and the way he reacts to that and the way he reacts to Superman is just not Lex in my opinion. It's just like he's doing it for fun, which is a very Joker Riddler thing, which is a very Mad Hatter thing, not a Lex thing.
Like to his credit, he does get his hair shaved. I believe in like some stupid after credit scene.
Sure, I guess.
I get the idea behind it like more than I get what they were doing with the other DC characters at the time. Like I see what they were going for. Like he would eventually end up as Lex given like 5 years of development, but the movie is not good. But I do like his part in it.
I'm sorry, I don't have Snyder faith. It was at this point in the universe I did not have Snyder faith anymore. Yeah. Anything else you wanna add to this?
Not really.
Okay. Alright, next one. Brokeback Mountain should not have ended the way it did. Should have at least bumped into each other. Now I will say I don't remember how Brokeback Mountain ended. Do you?
It's like a I think it's like years after their like brief playing has ended, and then
Right.
they're kind of yeah, like you can probably get that just from looking at the take alone. Like sort of thing where like what's tragic is that they don't even get to acknowledge each other.
They should have like had like an interaction at least.
I'm really neutral on this. It's been too long since I watched it.
Same, like I'm sorry. Let me Google the ending real quick. Oh yeah, it is like some time after.
Yeah. What I remember the most is obviously the two lead performances. I think it's definitely like Heath Ledger's most recognized role before he did Joker.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I forgot it's Jake Gyllenhaal as well. Damn. Yeah, it's alright. I remember being indifferent to Brokeback Mountain. Like, it's okay.
The one I like better is like vividly that I remember is Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Yeah, that one I don't know how to describe it, but I thought it was really good. Like
Yeah, same. Alright, moving right along. Because we have all kinds of hot takes, not just about media. So we have McDonald's breakfast is overpriced comparing the side dishes. Hash browns are smaller than fries and coffee is cheaper than Coke while being the same price. I think the more glaring question is why are we eating breakfast at McDonald's?
the few times I've had to do that are like at airports. I think
Yeah.
McDonald's everything's overpriced in general. There's really no
Yeah,
comparison.
McDonald's itself is overpriced. So like
Yeah. and like the money also goes to like terrible causes. So
Yeah.
it's not something I feel like really happy with eating, especially frequently.
Also, ladies and gentlemen, we are living in Malaysia. Why would we ever eat McDonald's for breakfast? Come on, we got better breakfast food out here. Anyway, moving on. This next one's crazy. The Rings of Power TV show is better than the Hobbit trilogy. Okay, you ready?
Yeah,
All right, 3, 2, 1. Disagree.
disagree. Of the first season alone, disagree.
Yeah.
I would always say The Hobbit is watchable.
Mm,
Like it would be even more watchable if you cut about half an hour from like everything combined, but it is at its baseline like watchable.
yeah. Like, okay, I get that I get people don't like The Hobbit. I get why. But I don't know, man. Like, Rings of Power is like, number one. Rings of Power was very unnecessary to me. Like, like I don't know why. Do you know what Rings of Power is adapting? Because I don't.
That's the thing. It doesn't adapt anything. It adapts like certain paragraphs of like what do you call the
Silmarillion.
footnotes? No. It's not even similar. It's the footnotes of like Lord of the Rings and other
Really?
companion books. Because the Tolkien estate has like a pretty like, infamous reputation for like closely guarding all his writings, like how Smaug guards the goat.
Yeah.
But the only thing that you were able to get access to was like the back matter, paragraphs of
Yep.
lore, additional stuff. But even then, I think it's such a thin skeleton to run a show on.
Yeah, I would agree.
An animated TV special I can see, but a show is not the way to go.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm so disinterested in Rings of Powers. I think I watched like 2 episodes of the first season and became so disinterested. Like, it's. I think this one is generally quite boring lah, to be honest. And I say that after experiencing 12 hours of the original trilogy, by the way. So like, I think I would
Yeah.
know what's boring and what's not.
Like it's 3,000 to 4,000 years before the main events of Lord of the Rings, if I'm not mistaken, and that slice actually is it 3,000? I'm not sure, but 4 digits before Lord of the Rings, and that slice of like Tolkien history is famously like really like this mythical clashes, dragons and gods and like dark lords and stuff. That deserves a higher production budget, or just a different medium than what they ended up giving Rings of Power.
Yeah. I think, I don't know whether it's a hot take. I don't think it is, but I generally think House of the Dragon and Knight of the Seven Kingdoms did better things for the Game of Thrones franchise than Rings of Power did for Lord of the Rings.
I feel like that's like
Even
pretty
though I
much
haven't really seen the shows, but just
generally
by
accepted take.
by having an outsider view of what's happening, it seems that way to me.
I think it's just that a lot of Tolkien's like side work is pretty much impossible to adapt.
Yeah.
Even like you're talking about Dune, like it's difficult to adapt, but Denise has done it. I think Silmarillion and the other stuff is practically impossible.
Wow, George over here still hasn't finished writing his book yet. So yeah. Yeah, let's move on. We have the age-old question. DC is better than Marvel.
You know which podcast you're watching. You know.
I think you know which podcast you're watching. But
Yeah.
I think regardless, I think I have an answer to this. But let's, I mean, we both agree, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a very specific answer to this when people ask me what's better. I separate it into 3 quadrants. One quadrant is movies. The other quadrant is comics. The other quadrant is animation. So if we're looking at movies, I think even though DC has started to produce better movies, especially after James Gunn entered the DC franchise, Marvel still has a bigger volume of hits. So I would say Marvel takes movies. Comics, we've talked extensively about how Marvel cannot stick the landing in comics. So DC obviously takes comics. And then in terms of I think animation is the hardest one. Because animation, Marvel has things like the Spider-Man animated show, the X-Men animated show, the Avengers animated show. What else? What else does it have? Animation. Yeah, that's about it. Those are the heavy hitters. But DC has the Justice League animated show, the Batman animated show, as well as the 1,000 other animated movies that they have, including one of the best superhero, if not the best superhero animated movie of all time, Under the Red Hood. So because of that, DC takes animation. All in all, DC wins. Analysis. Done.
Yeah, I mostly agree with that. The only caveat being I haven't seen like a solid 90% of like Marvel's animation backlog. I have seen a lot of like DC stuff, even though there's still a lot more, but it's a solid chunk already. I'll take a different approach to this and go like, if you're talking characters wise, comic storyline wise, I think in theory, DC should clear that by a mile.
Yeah.
But the problem is that like Marvel has like you have to give them their flowers for like carving out a huge like empire out of like characters that are slightly less interesting than DC characters in my opinion. And they've taken what they had and they've like run with it so hard that like right now, or at least 5 years ago, they're like household name.
Yeah. That's why the issue is now is like, for once Marvel has 90% of their things back, 90% of their toys back, and they just don't know how to play with them.
I think this is the first time in a long time that they've been on like pretty much even ground, especially when it comes to things that make the most money.
Yeah, I would agree. So yes, you know what podcast you're watching. It's DC.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Alright, next one. More Marvel. Let's go. Post-hype. In modern day, Iron Man and Iron Man 2 are comparatively more fun to watch than Thor Ragnarok and Endgame.
I really want to split this into half.
Yeah,
Right.
same. I know what you mean.
Yeah. But then it becomes really obvious what answer is gonna be, I think.
Yeah.
So maybe we should do it as a whole still.
Yeah. Okay, to be honest, I think we're thinking the same thing. So do you want to say what you're thinking first?
It's true for Endgame, it's wrong for Ragnarok.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we do talk about this during our Marvel tier list.
Yeah.
But like, Iron Man 2, great entries, great first entries using a C-list character at the time. Definitely, if you're talking about post-hype, I think not only are both Iron Mans more fun to watch than Endgame, but it's more rewatchable, if that makes sense, because nothing will top the experience of watching Endgame in a packed cinema when it first comes out.
Yeah.
Nothing will top that. And then every single watch of Endgame after that, it's like, okay, this again. There's no shock factor to it anymore.
Yeah. To me, Endgame is not like 3 hours. Endgame is like 6 months of waiting and theorizing and thinking. So if you take that away and like put it in front of me like I don't know, older, like maybe slightly more like jaded, like media wise, I think Endgame wouldn't hold up, and I haven't rewatched it since because of that exact reason. Yeah.
Ragnarok, on the other hand, is just innately a phenomenal movie, which is why I think it's wrong for Ragnarok.
Like, don't get me wrong, Iron Man 1 is really, really good, especially in hindsight. Iron Man 2 is okay. It's a solid like B-lister, I think. It's right in the middle. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I think Ragnarok is amazing.
Yeah, Ragnarok I've rewatched once, and I'm about to like reach it again in my pre-Doomsday rewatch. I'm looking
For
forward to
me,
that.
it's like equal if not better than the first Thor. The first Thor still holds a very special place in my heart because of just how how well it adapted the character.
I think it's just the kind of thing where like fun, fast, kind of like funny movies are just inherently more rewatchable than like even a really solid,
Yeah,
but it takes its time kind of thing.
yeah, I would agree. Like I guess time passes faster when you're laughing at Thor at Bruce Banner jumping off the ship.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our next one. The next one's another food one. I think our viewers are really hungry. We have sushi is the most disgusting thing ever. Like, why would you ever eat wet cold rice with wet slimy fish? First of all, that's hilarious. Secondly, you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Disagree.
Disagree.
Come on, man.
I don't even like sashimi that much, but you can't just
Wet
you
slimy fish.
you can't discredit like all of sushi-dom just because of like raw fish being one of its main like traits.
This person is so angry. they're so disgusted.
What has sushi done to you?
Also, like the rice isn't wet though.
It's sticky. I
Yeah,
guess,
it's sticky, I guess, to the most. But like,
it's a lump. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But even then,
yeah, I don't know. This doesn't make sense to me.
if you're getting Korean, like if you're getting like a rice ball, it's exactly the same. I think a lot of Asians, like the older Asian cultures, like their rice like that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sushi is great, man.
Okay, like I can, even though I love sashimi, I can understand why you wouldn't want to eat raw fish. I can understand that. Whether it's a texture thing or whether it's a tasting, I don't know. But like I can understand that. But like to rule out sushi in general when there's so many more toppings other than raw fish, I think like I don't know. I don't think that's really fair.
Yeah, I think it's just incredible how much stuff you can like physically put onto the ball of rice and still make it taste good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to say it's the most disgusting thing, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Alright. For our final take of the day, of the episode. Ugh, God, it hurts me to even say this. The take is Nolan should have done an all-white cast for the Odyssey. I don't want to calm down for this one. Just no.
Yeah, it's just strong disagree. Hard no.
Just say you're racist, bro.
Yeah. If you really want to look at this from like a technical standpoint, I don't think we are like historians by any mean, but I think by now most people know that like Troy is in Turkey.
Yeah.
It is in Central Asia. It is not Slavic. Like it is a whole distance from Greece, which is why it takes like OD 10 years to get back.
Yeah.
And just putting that aside, I don't know. Like, if you really want to go at it from this angle, the Iliad, in the Iliad, the Greek army, or as they call it, as it's translated, consists of like dozens of tribes. That's why they get like the different leaders. Is a whole thing is because like it's not one region going to war with another region. It's more of like Agamemnon kind of like summoning the whole land and like the whole breadth of like tribes and people that reside in that land who help him,
Yeah.
and that's the point of it.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't know. We live in a society where doing an all white anything for anything is questionable. Like okay, I'm gonna call back a discussion we had in a previous episode about adaptations. It's like I get wanting to be faithful to source material and the time in which stories take place, and I'm all for that. But like the same way how a black person shouldn't get casted for the sake of casting a black person, we shouldn't cast white people for the sake of casting white people, kind of thing, you know? Like if changing the race of a character from what its intention was to be, it's fine if it doesn't change the story. I don't think it changes the story if if Athena is black. I don't think it changes the story if I don't know, you cast just non-Greek, non-white adjacent people.
Yeah, I think like the whole point of gods in like modern interpretations is that like they present as whatever they want to
Yeah,
present as. A lot of like pretty much the last 20 years of like myth adaptations have done that, like ranging from like serious stuff to like young adult stuff have all taken that and run with it.
yeah,
So that in itself is just a really strange thing to like hyper focus on when like it is a Nolan movie. It's gonna be like baseline good, if not great.
yeah.
And anything above it, yeah.
I would agree.
Mm.
And if you don't like the Odyssey, then it's not for you, and that's okay. You know.
Yeah, it's just that the same people who are making these arguments, like always point out like Troy as being like 2004 Troy as being like the peak of their
Yeah.
like Greek representation, which is like the other end of the spectrum in terms of like still being like technically incorrect.
Yeah. Like guys, Achilles didn't look like that. Didn't look like Brad Pitt either. Like, why did we not make noise about that back then? You know?
Mm. Yeah, I think a lot of people just fundamentally misunderstand that like a lot of the Greek myths don't take place in like modern Greece.
Yeah.
Like for one, the region used to be bigger, and like number two, it is a really diverse like landscape,
Yeah.
especially when it spanned for like whole regions that are now like divided into smaller countries.
Yeah.
It makes sense that all sorts of tribes exist within that region.
You know, the land used to be bigger and the oceans used to be bigger because, you know, Pangea, I guess. So, yeah.
Mm. It's just yeah, it's just a really weird thing to focus on. I think like a lot
Like,
of
we should
media
focus
takes and
on
run.
measuring it of how good of a movie it is, not based on
Yeah,
the racial makeup of the cast.
yeah, it's just something like people running with to get views, get clicks, and then some people like actually just believe it and adopt it as their own opinion.
Yeah, I would agree.
Mm.
All right, that's all the takes that we have today. Any closing thoughts?
Uh, like barring a few, like most of these were pretty interesting to discuss on. Like, although a solid majority of these we have like pretty clear cut answers for.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, some of it is still fun to talk about. So, like a pretty good episode.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for the. I can't speak today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more of these hot take episodes, fill up that form below. We will definitely want to see more. We'll definitely be doing another one of these very soon when we get more takes. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe for more. Stay tuned for next week, and we'll see you then for the next episode.